then you should know.
You're the ones who has control.
Viva, viva Venezuela!
Viva, viva Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
No sanctions, no war!
No sanctions, no war!
No sanctions, no war!
So our next speaker is from the Vancouver Peace Council, Kimball, who's going to give more analysis of the situation in Venezuela and the Canadian role.
Thank you very much, Ioannis, and thank you on behalf of the organizers of events today, and especially thank you to the Coast peoples whose land we are carrying our activity out upon, the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, the Musqueam. We give our respect to them for welcoming us to their lands, which were never intended to be used to wage war against other countries, whether it's Venezuela or any else in the world. And yet that's what we're seeing today. We have a foreign minister in this country who is absolutely dedicated to helping U.S. imperialism carry out its destructive role around the world in every country where a government dares to put the interests of its own people first ahead of U.S. and Canadian transnational capital. Our foreign minister is the first one cheering in line for actions to overthrow those governments, to undermine them, to sanction them, to put their people into starvation and poverty. You know, this government was elected 4 years ago on the promise of sunny days. What kind of sunny days is it when you support U.S. sanctions, which mean that the government of Venezuela cannot even get the proceeds from the sale of that country's own oil? What kind of sunny days in it when we have a foreign minister who is openly a voice for fascism? This is a government that should be held to account everywhere across this country this year. There's a federal election in about 7-8 months. We need to be everywhere liberal candidates are running. The conservatives are just as bad. But these are the people who are putting this foreign policy into place. And it's a shameful, aggressive foreign policy. Imagine Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau are hand in hand with the U.S. government, which has just appointed Elliot Abrams to be their point man. The same guy who was responsible for U.S. foreign policy in El Salvador during the 1980s when tens of thousands of people were massacred in Guatemala and elsewhere. Somebody brought this guy back from the crypt to inflict violence upon the peoples of this hemisphere. This cannot be allowed to stand. We have a crisis on this planet, a crisis of global warming, carbon emissions. We don't even know if we have a future on this planet. Desperate measures are needed to turn this around. And instead we have governments which are more focused on strangling other countries, imposing sanctions, threatening war against them. This must not be allowed to continue. On behalf of the Vancouver Peace Council, I urge you to follow the activities of the new Venezuela Peace and Solidarity Committee of Vancouver. Continue to give this coalition your support. Expand it with your participation. We look forward to seeing you at other events coming up in the period ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Kimball. Okay, this is another call and response chant. Your part is hands off Venezuela, okay? Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off Venezuela!
No sanctions, no war!
No sanctions, no war!
No, you're not doing it right. Your part is always hands off Venezuela. Okay? Got it? Okay. Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off Venezuela!
No sanctions, no war!
Hands off Venezuela!
Trudeau!
Hands off Venezuela!
Trump!
Hands off Venezuela!
Imperialism!
Hands off Venezuela!
No sanctions, no war!
Hands off Venezuela!
No sanctions, no war!
Hands off Venezuela!
No sanctions, no war!
Hands off Venezuela!